Good morning, students. Today we will start with unit number 2. Over here, we will discuss about the organizational structure, the various types of organizational structure, what is the purpose of an organizational structure, and how it can work effectively. So first we start with what is an organizational structure. So an organizational structure actually means the hierarchy of the people in the departments and the manner in which there is information flow within the organization. Or you can say an organizational structure defines the organization's hierarchy of people and departments as well as how information flows within the organization. Determines how and when the information is distributed and who makes the decision based on that particular information, and how the jobs and tasks are formally divided among the groups, and how all the information and the various departments are coordinated. Now, if you talk about the importance of the organizational structure, it is important because it is helping, actually, it is defining that which person is actually responsible, what is his work area, what are the key responsibility areas of the particular person to whom he is going to report. So, it is actually telling about the hierarchy that is being followed in an organization. The effects of structure on individual groups, you have various types of effect, how it is going to affect. First, the behavior of how the people act and work, because in the organizational structure, every duty and responsibility and the hierarchy has been defined. So it will affect the behavior of how the people are acting in the organization and how they're working over there, how the workers get motivated, how the sales people are performing, how the people coordinate with each other and perform a teamwork. Then how can you show the intergroup and the interdepartmental relationships? So these are the various facts which gets affected by how the structure of the organization has been decided. The various factors which influence the organizational structure, we have internal factors as well as external factors. Internal factors, first point is product and service related factors. So the structure of an organization will be affected by the nature of the product or the nature of the service that it is dealing with. For example, if a organization is dealing with FMCG goods, in such a case the size of the organization is large and it is flat at the lower level, because there is large number of customers to whom the organization has to cater. Then we have organization related factors. Organizations having highly specialized products and serving very niche markets have smaller and simpler sales organization. If the size of the organization is large and sales is executed through multiple channels, the sales organization will also be large and complex. Next point in this regard in the internal factors is the marketing mix related factors. So when the organization is serving a global or national market, then what will happen? Because the organization size will be large. So companies which have selective distribution strategies, they will be preferring to have their own outlets and decide in favor of simple sales organization. Organizations with an intensive distribution strategy. Retail channels have complex and large sales organization. In case of low priced goods where the potential demand and the customers are large, the size of the organization will also be large. When the price of the goods is high, as for example for cars, televisions, the size of the market is limited, so the sales organizational structure is also limited. So these are the internal factors which affect the structure of an organization. Now let's talk about the external factors. Because of the external factors, there has been a lot of change in the structure of an organization. So first of all, the companies today are becoming more and more customer oriented. Instead of serving a homogeneous set of customers, now the organization is trying to do one-to-one marketing. It is trying to get more and more customers, and it is working on more customer basis. Secondly, the structural change has also come due to the reduction in the number of vendors per buyer. Today's organizational buyer wants a salesperson who will understand his problem and try to solve it. So the number of vendor per buyer is also reducing. Then now more focus is given on customer relationship. So closer customer relationship results in greater access to suppliers and a commitment to help the customers. So sales function is slowly becoming a part of every department. Then lastly, the changes in the regulation due to rapid globalization has also changed the structure. Now the whole world is looked as a market. So there is more pressure to redesign the sales departments. Then you have the principles of organizational structure. First point is span of control. Span of control means what is the number of people that to whom the to the number of people directly reporting to the sales managers. So how many people the manager is actually controlling? What is the span of control of the sales manager? Narrow span of control is an appropriate model when there are new recruitment. New recruits gain information or gain a lot of help from the managers in one-to-one coaching. But there is also a disadvantage that a new recruit can get demotivated due to the direct supervision of the sales manager. Then unity of command. So each person should report to one boss only. If he is getting a command from many bosses, then that particular person will get confused and he will not be able to do his work in an effective manner. Third point, hierarchy of authority. The person who is carrying the authority should be clear, and there should be an unbroken chain of command which will be linking every person in the organization with someone at the higher level. Point number four, stability and continuity. Jobs should not be assigned without due regard for the talent and preferences of the current employee, so that the employee can be stable over there and he does not leave the organization and go away. He should be satisfied with the job that has been offered to him. Point number five, coordination and integration. The job of a salesperson should be integrated with customer needs and coordinated with the jobs of other employees and departments in the organization. Objectivity. Each division should be in harmony with the objective of the organization. Specialization. The work of every individual in the organization should be confined as far as possible to the performance of a single leading function. Now we talk about the purpose of a sales organization. A sales organizational structure actually defines the relationship among jobs and amongst the people in the company. The main aim of an organizational structure is to arrange the task of jobs in such a manner that the people are involved in a proper way and they can perform their duties in an effective and efficient manner, because everybody's duties and responsibilities will be defined. Everybody, all the salesperson will know to whom they have to report. They should be getting command from only a single person. So everything it will be in a in line, so that people are able to work in an effective manner. So we start with the first one, the purpose of a sales organization, that is determining the degree of centralization. Centralized structure has the authority and responsibility placed at higher levels of management. In a decentralized organization, the responsibility and the authority for carrying out the tasks are delegated at the lower level managers. Mostly what happens in organizations, people follow a mixed method of centralization. In case of important decisions like pricing, like long term objectives, this is done by the higher level managers. And when it comes to the looking after the sales force, controlling the sales force, then in that case the first level managers can do that work, so that it is decentralized for the controlling the sales people. Point number two, allowing the degree of specialization. A salesperson is specialized is in selling activities, and the sales manager performs the sales management task. So the approach is less effective as complexity of a company or the product will be growing. So degree of specialization is required to concentrate on a few activities. A person, if he's focusing on few activities, then he can specialize more in that particular area. For example, if there are some salespeople who visit specific customers like the government, in that case that salesperson will know how to draw tenders, how to quote the prices, what is the need of the government institutions. So he'll be specializing in that particular work with dealing with the government supplies. Then defining the line staff position. Line position has line authority, that is power to direct and control immediate subordinates reporting to them. Line managers are involved in achieving the sales targets. Staff authority give advices. They are having specialized areas. They have more specialization and their work is to advise the line managers. Then showing market orientation, because markets are varied, like individual consumer is there are industrial consumers. So market is very complex. So market oriented team develops strategies for the market it serves. For example, company with market oriented structure will make the products available on internet. If the customer is government organization like the railways, the salesperson should be familiar with tendering process and policies. So a person, if markets are of various types. It can be consumer based, it can be industrial based. So according to the market orientation, the sales organizational structure also varies. Then another point of the sales organization structure we already discussed, that it helps in effective coordination. All the departments must think of the customer and they should work together to fulfill the needs of the customers. So there's a coordination should be there between the finance department, between the production department, with the marketing department, with the sales department. So it helps in achieving coordination. And then lastly, ensuring a reasonable span of control. Span of control refers to the number of individuals who report to each sales manager. So recent trend is mostly to have a flat organizational structure, which means that reducing the number of hierarchy levels so that the organization can get much more closer to the customer. Now we start with the very basic types of sales organization structure. The basic type, the most simplest one is the line sales organization. As you can see over there in the diagram, this is the oldest type of sales organization, and it is mostly used in small firms and in firms where there is a small selling force. So this limitation restricts them to narrow product line in limited geographical area. So all the executives have the line authority and each subordinate reports directly to the manager under whom he is working. Line of authority and responsibility is very clear and it is logical, and it is difficult for individuals to shift or evade their responsibilities. But in case of a large organization, it is not appropriate. The main advantage of line organization is that it is very simple organization, the authority is clear, quick decision making can be done, it is lower in cost. But the disadvantage is that there is no support to the line managers from the subordinates who have specialized knowledge. Secondly, the sales head has less time for the planning analysis. Now we come to the second one, that is line and staff organization. You can see over here in the diagram that you're having the various specialists like the marketing research manager, promotional manager, customer service manager. Over here, these are the specialists, these are the staff people who can give their advice, but they cannot directly correspond to the salespeople. They cannot directly give the advice to the salespeople. They can only talk to those people who are working in the line organization. So provided line staff sales organization provides the top sales executive with a group of specialists and experts, which are called the staff, such as the marketing research, the sales training, advertising, and communication. Staff have the role of advising and assisting line sales manager. Staff managers, like the marketing research managers, also do not have the authority to issue directives to the salespeople. Likely, it is mostly used in medium and large organizations where the number of customers is large, the market coverage is also big, the sales force size is also large, and there are many products or services that are being sold over there. The main advantage is there is better decision making. Top sales and marketing managers can concentrate on planning and coordination. But the disadvantage is that there is high cost and there is problem of coordination. There will be problem of decision making because there are many people who are associated with it, and there conflicts may arise if staff managers take line authority instead of staying in their advisory role. The next one is the functional sales organization. Over here you can see the diagram that how it is different from the line and staff. Over here the various specialists or the experts, they can directly give their advice to the salespeople. So in this is known as a functional sales organization. So each staff specialist or managers, such as the marketing research manager and the promotion managers, they have line authority and and also have function over the salespeople. For example, the market research manager can directly issue instructions to all the salespeople. The main advantage of this is qualified specialists guide the sales force and it is simple to administer. But the disadvantage is that confusion is more because managers giving order to sales force over here. Then you have the horizontal sales organization. This over here you can see the horizontal sales organization. Over here the structure does not have levels of hierarchy. You can see in this diagram there are no levels of hierarchy over here. So and also there are no departmental boundaries. So support functions like the strategic planning, human resource, finance are looked after by small team of senior executives. All other people and members of a cross-functional team. So everywhere they're having the cross-functional team which is working and doing many work like product design, sales and production or operations. So the main advantage in this is Reduction in supervision, there is reduction in supervision, there is unnecessary task and cost, substantial improvement in efficiency, and customer response with enthusiasm. The main disadvantage is duplication of activities across many customer groups, and geographical area is expensive. Then we have some specialized organizational structures also, which is based on geographical area, the product they are selling, the market oriented specialization is there. Then your functional specialization is there, and there can be a combination of specialization also. So geographical specialization, each salesperson is assigned a geographical area and is made responsible for all the selling activities to all the customers. So a number of salesperson are placed under a territory manager. The territory sales manager is called the DSM or the area sales managers. Companies with large number of salespeople often have 2 or 3 levels of territorial sales manager. The national market is divided into regional markets based on ethnic and demographic segmentation, and they prepare regional and district plans for selling all the products of the company. Over here you can see the geographical sales organization, where you're having RSM North, you're having RSM East, you're having RSM West, you're having RSM South. And below every regional sales manager, there is a divisional sales manager, and below every divisional sales manager. So the whole organization is divided into the various geographical divisions. The main advantage in geographical division is what? Better market coverage is there, better control over the sales force is there is superior customer service, there is quick response to the local conditions and competition. The disadvantage is that their geographic specialization is having limited specialization of marketing tasks. That is, each DSM is made responsible to work on the local sales promotion and advertising, in addition to managing the sales people reporting to him. So he is actually overburdened over here. The next is product specialization. It is used when the company has many products or brands. Mostly in this you have two types of product specialization. One is sales organization with product specialized sales force, and the other is sales organization with product managers as who are acting as the staff specialist. Over here you can see that you are having product group, product A and product B. So salespeople in each group sell only the products included in that group. The regional and the DSM are line managers with no staff assistant. The main advantages over here is each product gets specialized attention from the sales force, but the disadvantage is sometimes more salespeople contact the same customer, resulting in customer dissatisfaction and higher cost. That is why in order to rectify it, there is other type of a product sales specialization. So this one is the second one. This shows the company having two groups of products, A product and product B. Each divisional manager, marketing manager, has the responsibility for planning and implementing a marketing plan for each group of products. They have no line authority with the field sales manager and the sales force. They can only recommend or request to the regional sales manager. So each salesperson sells all the products of group A, and there is no specialization by product at salespeople level. So main advantage over here, it corrects the problem of duplication calls on a customer by a salespeople. But the disadvantage is lack of product specialization by the salespeople. Then you have market specialization. You can see in the diagram over here, you are having international market, you are having people who are serving the government institutions, people who are serving the customers, then you have the commercial market. So the specialization is divided according to the market. So it is desirable when the customers are classified by the type, by the user, industry, or the channel. Salespeople carry out all the selling activities for the products, but only for specific customer groups like the government, like the consumers, etc. The main advantage is that it meets the needs of specific customer group, implements customer created centered philosophy of the company. Main disadvantage is the geographical duplication and high cost. Most of the companies follow a hybrid sales organization or a combination sales organization. So the characteristics is many firms use some combination of specialization organizations called hybrid or combination of sales organization with a view to minimize disadvantages and maximize the advantages of a specialized organization. You can see a diagram over here that this is a combination of what? It is a combination of geographical sales organizational structure, and it is a combination of a market sales organization structure. So it is taking the advantage, maximum advantage of both the types of organization, geographical as well as market oriented organizational structure, and it is trying to trying to reduce the disadvantages. So students, I think you have got a idea of what are the basic organizational structures and what are the divisions of the various organizational structure. The very simplest form is the line organization structure, and when you're having a medium type of organization or a large organization, you can have line and staff organizational structure, then you can have a functional organizational structure, and then you can have a combination of the organizational structures. But there are also some organizational structures which are actually specialized. For example, you have a organizational structure which is based on the geographical area, organizational structure which is based on the products, organizational structure which is a hybrid of all the structures. So these are the various type of organizational structure, and the very basis of an organizational structure is that it is actually deciding, it is telling the hierarchy to whom a person will be reporting. It is deciding all the duties and the responsibilities of the salespeople and whom he is going to report in the organization. So that is so that a person knows without any confusion what is his activity in the organization and whom he is going to report, so that his efficiency can be improved and the organization can serve the customer markets in a better way. Okay, students. So, thank you for today. We'll meet in the next class.